Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? Let's see, 11:59. Yes, it should be. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad to see that you are all here. I hope you're enjoying your lunch, having a good time with your peers, talking about things that you don't get to talk about a lot because you're so busy, I know. Thank you for being here today. My name's Aurora Cedillo, and I'm one of the founding board members here with Salem-Keizer Coalition, and I'm so proud to be a part of this event. I think it's our third one. It is with great pleasure that I welcome all of you, the board of directors for the coalition, the staff, volunteers, and community of Salem-Keizer. First, I would like to acknowledge those that have supported by sponsoring our luncheon. Northwest Health Foundation, Salem Health, CCTV, Allied Video, Select Impressions, Salem Alliance Church, Olson's Florist, and then they say, by the way, look under your plate. If you have a gold star, you get to take home the centerpiece. So check under your plate. Thank you, Olson's Florist. Woo. Oh my goodness. Check the plates that are not there, the people that are gone. Ooh, we have one. Okay. The salad plate? The dessert? Oh, check the dessert plate. It's like, okay. So, oh, Dan gets it, okay. Continuing. El Torito Market, Salvador's Bakery, Archives Coffee, and Silverton Health, who sponsored a table for Salem-Keizer teacher cadet students. Welcome, teacher cadets. I would also like to take the time to acknowledge elected officials who are here with us today and took the time to support our cause for education equity. Kathy Clark. Kathy, welcome. Keizer City Councilor. Roldan Herrera. Not here yet, okay. Janet Carlson, Marion County Commissioner. Former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Edwin Peterson. Brian Clem wanted to be here, but he couldn't be here. But thank you for wanting to be here. I also want to thank the board of directors that are here, the amazing staff, and volunteers who have put this luncheon together. It looks really, really nice and pretty. Thank you for all your work. To start our event today, we want to introduce Ana Livia Palacio Angulo, who is the executive director and one of the co-founding members of the coalition. As a single mother of 3 in 1996, Ana Livia entered Chemeketa Community College at the age of 39. After dropping out of high school at 15, and after receiving the Hallie Ford Opportunity Scholarship for single mothers, single parents, she completed her BA at Willamette University, and followed by her Teaching of Arts degree. So, Ana Livia, thank you. Come in to share information about raising the bar.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It's just beautiful to see you. I wanted to make a quick correction. There was a mistake that we wrote on this that I already knew the answer to. Kathy Clark is the mayor of Keizer. We had her as a counselor, but it was just an accident, sorry. Thank you, Kathy, for coming. So I wanted to thank Aurora, too, because she's a founding board member, and we have a lot to thank her for. She's the daughter of farm workers from the 1950s and the first person in her family to go to college. She succeeded against all the odds and spent her entire career as a bilingual teacher and professional development support staff for the Salem-Keizer School District. She risked her career organizing the Migrant Parent Advocacy Group in 1999 and joined our coalition as a founding member. She believes in parents. Why did she go to college? Because her abuelito, her grandfather, told her she would. SKCE staff, board, volunteers, and thousands of Latino parents whose lives you have touched, thank you as you continue to make sacrifices for our vision forward. Okay, SKCE began with a bold vision, one in which every parent and child realizes their respective strengths, skills, and wisdom and responsibilities to raise the next generation with a vision of success. For this to happen, they need tools, they need encouragement, they need resources, and they need collaboration and cooperation from all of us who are in this great network of social systems of government, education, not-for-profits, businesses. You know, systems are created to serve, but sometimes they're fraught with institutional obstacles that disempower those they serve. Our mission is about equity, education, and empowerment. Education equity for 164,000 Latino students in Oregon, for 18,000 Latino students in Salem-Keizer School District, and equitable empowerment for the students' parents and families. We are still facing an achievement gap and an opportunity gap. We have made progress in the last 10 years, but we're not close yet to closing the achievement gap for many groups of students of color and low-income students. Our solution was to organize parents. We believe that parents engaged as the first and most important teachers of their children, engaged as partners to their children's teachers and schools, and engaged in leadership at home, at school, and the community is the solution to closing the achievement gap. Our accomplishments: each year, we have provided 50 to 60 parent involvement workshops using our unique curriculum, Educate and Inspire, plus monthly support groups for some of those parents who are struggling with teenagers, and 3 to 4 10-week sessions of our unique parent-led literacy intervention program called Leyendo Avanzamos. Most classes are in the evenings. This is around 100 nights per year during the school year, and each class needs 2 parent trainers or facilitators, 3 to 4 childcare staff, and sometimes a van driver. Each class serves from 15 to 30 parents, sometimes more, and 30 to 50 children, ages 0 to 12. Childcare is educational enrichment, and finally, everyone receives a light dinner. That's at least 5,000 meals per year. Our unduplicated numbers average around 700 parents a year and about that many children, a little more. Last year, we received the first report from our evaluation work that we started in 2014, and we're really proud of the results. After analyzing school data from 382 Latino children of the parent participants in the 2013-14 school year, EquiNorthwest reported to us that the rate of chronic absenteeism was about 6% for elementary students and 9% for middle school students. Our 382 children were compared to the other Latino children in the district of the same demographics, whose chronic absenteeism rates were 18% for elementary and 21% for middle schools. That's impact, and there is more to come. This year, we will have a report showing the impact of our parent-led literacy programs. I know because we can see it and hear it from parent testimonies and our own pre and post tests, both of which will be shown to have great impact in that report. So why do we call it Raising the Bar? Raising the Bar refers to a program from a university that became a standard for increasing student proficiency and readiness for college throughout every grade to meet the needs and expectations of the 21st century economy and job market. Preschool is the new kindergarten. You've probably heard that. Kindergarten's the new first grade. Kids need to know a lot more. But we decided a long time ago that we needed to raise our bar as parents, as community members, as educators, as leaders, as businesses, as government. And that's my call to action today, that you join me in raising the bar for ourselves so that we can help the children meet that bar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ana Olivia. It's great to look at raising the bar in different perspectives. And I think raising the bar for you today is doing your part in being here and supporting the programs of the Salem-Keizer Coalition. Our mission is to raise the bar for students in the classroom with their teachers. And the way we believe that we can do that is by informing parents, giving them the information they need so they can be equal partners with teachers and principals and the system. We cannot continue to teach separated, the school and the home, two different things. When I was a little girl, I always felt like I would leave my home, jump over a fence, walk through an alley to get to my school. And in the meantime, I'm taking off my home experience, my language, my clothing, the way I play, the way I talk, and then the way I behaved. And after school, I would come back and I would have to take off my school attire and put on the clothes that I took off at the fence. So this is raising the bar so that systems and people come together and we have better working collaboration experiences. So raising the bar for parents means they're learning a lot about the system. Raising the bar for students is how to understand that instruction. And for us as educators, to make sure that we have open communication activities where we're all learning. Because not just because we're teachers, we know it all. We need to be learning also. So thank you, Ana Olivia, for doing that hard work, and thank you for being here and supporting this work. So each of us has a little piece to do. Our next speaker is someone who has been in our community supporting education. And let me see all these paperwork. So, I'm just going to introduce Salam just the way I know him because I don't know where my paper is. So, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Salam Noor. Yes? Salam Noor, who I met when I was a teacher at Salem-Keizer School. He was our assistant superintendent, but I also knew that he worked at the State Department, especially with our English Language Learners Department along Carmen West, and I knew of his work as we try to put the ELD system into our schools, because we had been teaching English to kids. We've always been teaching English, but we had never focused on teaching the secrets of the language. And so it was a great honor to work with Salam and his staff as they were trying to teach all the Oregon teachers and principals on what the difference was with ELD. What do you mean, teach ELD, English Language Development? So it was a great time for us as we were developing into leaderships in the state and teaching. Later on, he came to Salem-Keizer and he worked with our teachers, making sure that there was equity in the classroom, equity for our working staff, and the training that the teachers needed. Today, he's at the State Department leading a lot of student education and working with other group members. I know he's working with David Bautista, developing this new law that's coming into the state. So welcome, Salam. Thank you for all your work, and we welcome you here.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it, Aurora. And I really appreciated Ana Olivia's comments and inspiring us to raise the bar. I think that's really the work that we do and aspire to every day, and we want for our kids and communities and everyone that's involved in this effort. So I really want to thank the Salem-Keizer Coalition and Ana Olivia in particular for inviting me to share a few comments with you today. It's truly a privilege to be here and to be a part of the important work that you do to support students, families, and our community at large, but here specifically in Salem-Keizer. And I take a great deal of pride in that because I live in this community. I lived here since 1997, and I've seen this community grow and evolve and embrace new ideas and new perspectives and new communities within it. So I am delighted to be a part of this and greatly appreciate the leadership that the coalition provides and the support and commitment that you bring to equity in our community in particular and student achievement, and the two go hand in hand. So I want to really focus my comments today on parent and family engagement. And I want to build on some of the comments that Ana Olivia shared with you, because that is really the essence of the work that we do, whether on an education front or community engagement front. And I want to do that as I reflect on some of the priorities and the work that we do at the state level. I want to start by saying we as a state have made a tremendous commitment to equity that is truly enviable. I participated in some interviews over the last couple of weeks for a high-level state administrator position. And the candidates that we interviewed, all of them were from out of state. And they were all amazed at our commitment to equity and the fact that we're operationalizing equity. And it's a challenge. We grapple with it in many venues, in many contexts. But the fact that we have this open and honest commitment to equity and to make sure that we actually have equitable outcomes for all students in the state of Oregon, in all communities, regardless of where they live, regardless of what school they go to, and expanding what we mean by that. So I was really proud of having been a part of this work and continue to be involved in this work. And we can see actually from working in different places around us, from engaging different communities and looking at different practices that are happening across the state, that schools, districts, and communities are working together to ensure that all students receive the supports and resources necessary to help them be successful. And this has been evident through policy, not just practice in the state of Oregon. Policy, of course, informs practice. But we've made a commitment to early learning and making sure that we bridge gaps before they actually amplify and expand and go beyond our reach. So when we talk about making sure that students are successful, we're talking about making sure that students are ready to learn when they enter our school system. They are able to successfully transition from elementary to secondary education, and to make sure that they're on track and have the knowledge and skills to really be successful and engage in more rigorous, demanding content. We want to make sure that students graduate from high school on time and to truly be prepared to engage in what comes next, whether it's going directly to the workforce to have the knowledge and skill and the experiences that will help them be successful in that environment, or go directly to a community college or a university. In Oregon, and this is a national statistic, anywhere from 40 to 60% of incoming freshman students require some form of remediation. And quite often, our low-income students, our socially and economically disadvantaged students that enter a community college program and get placed in a developmental education program never actually graduate from college, and many of them don't continue. So we have to ensure that students are truly prepared with the knowledge and skills to be successful in any environment, in any pursuit that they choose. And that happens with intentionality and purpose, and that's really why we're focusing our efforts at the state level to make sure that we close opportunity gaps and to close the achievement gaps that continue to persist in our system, and that is our commitment to equity. So as we think about these barriers that students face that keep them from graduating from high school, Ana Olivia touched on chronic absenteeism. We as a state have the highest absenteeism rates in the country. We have some of the lowest graduation rates in the country. And these are things that we've embraced, we're taking on the challenge, and we're going to do everything that we possibly can to help students graduate on time, be in school. There are many things that contribute to students not graduating from high school. That is chronic absenteeism, motivation, disengagement from school, social, emotional, and health needs, mental health needs, family circumstances, demographics, including poverty and low income, And there are many other factors that I can mention. What we're learning about those factors is that they don't work in isolation of each other. They often work in a cluster format. They all come together, or some of them come together, and have a tremendous impact on the student and their family. In our research at ODE, when we learned about schools that are beating the odds, that are doing enormous work with low-income students, students of color, English learners, we wanted to know, what are you doing that's improving the success of those students and improving graduation rates? And we learned very quickly that, that students that attend school regularly are likely to graduate. They're likely to graduate at a much higher rate than many of their peers. And we also learned that these schools are using a growth mindset, where you're looking at the developmental assets of the students rather than the deficits or the challenges that the student is actually facing. We also learned that this growth mindset is extended to the family. So the schools embrace the students and the richness of their culture, their history, their background, and their circumstances, and engage in a process that builds on those assets. So as we looked at these schools, we learned very quickly. We did 2 research briefs in the last 6 months. One focused specifically on chronic absenteeism, what's contributing to it, where are we seeing success, and the other focused on graduation, what's contributing to success and increased graduation rates in specific schools around the state. We wanted to learn from our own practices. We learned that parent and family involvement was a focus and a priority for each and every one of those schools. When we talked to principals, when we talked to staff at the school level and the district level, they said that is a goal for us as a district, and it gets operationalized at the school level. We also learned that community-based organizations, such as the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality, represent a natural source of leadership and opportunities to encourage and strengthen parent involvement in schools. And that is something that's often untapped in many communities. So we know that partnerships between community-based organizations and school districts are supported by extensive research on parental involvement, which has found that when parents are involved in the education of their children, they do better in school, their attendance improves, their motivation grows, and we see significant gains in both academic achievement and high school graduation. And the research is actually extending beyond that to include college attendance. So we see a dramatic shift in the performance of students and the success of students when schools actually engage the family and make the family part of the learning experience and the developmental experience of students. So community-based organizations such as the Coalition are really grassroots organizations that are neighborhood and community specific. And that is absolutely critical, because that's when you get to know the kids, you get to know the families, you understand the needs, and you understand the barriers. So these organizations like the Coalition play a key role as brokers between families and the school. They understand the barriers that families and students face and how to effectively engage schools and school staff, and can provide a direct link to community resources that can promote the academic achievement of students. And Ana Olivia actually referred to some of these practices and programs that they have here in this community, and I saw firsthand how effectively they work. So these organizations like the Coalition provide local families with basic supports and that often affect the student's ability to learn and succeed. So it's nutrition, it's academic support before school, after school, healthcare, housing, after school activities, as I mentioned, language instruction, transportation, but most importantly, they really bridge the gap between families that are not accustomed to working with our public school system and put the student at the center of every conversation and every interaction. So it's about the student. So we believe that the development of effective partnerships between community organizations like the Coalition and local schools, or the strengthening of these existing partnerships in the long run, can promote academic achievement, can truly close the achievement gap that we see in every school in the state of Oregon. That is an ingredient for success. We also have clear evidence, and we see this in such partnerships here in our state, that it takes more than schools to help students be successful. When we did the research relative to our graduation trend, we saw in some communities that the community-based organization is the first time that school experienced success. because that community-based organization knows the students, they know their backgrounds, they know how to mitigate some of the circumstances and barriers that are keeping the kids from coming to school. They can tell you specifically why the kids are not coming to school. So sometimes it takes a culturally specific organization, culturally specific strategies, and resources to help students and families engage schools and experience success. And again, it takes a growth mindset. We have to look at all students as assets that we have the pleasure and the opportunity to work with to help them succeed and be well. So that growth mindset is truly an ingredient, and it's a situation where the parent and the family are seen as leaders, teachers, partners, facilitators, and they are truly the key ingredient for student success. And I want to share with you, I'm trying to stay within my time frame here, my allotted time. I want to share with you that this is what we heard over the last 2 months. We've had the opportunity to engage communities around the state. I've been to Ontario, Pendleton twice in the last month, Redmond, Eugene. We've had 2 of these community forums in Portland last week and this week. We had one here in Salem. And we've engaged these communities around 3 key questions. And the questions are about what school characteristics are most important to you, what constitutes a quality school or a successful school, and how do we ensure all students are successful? This is part of an effort for us to help communities in the state of Oregon to reimagine education. We have a new law that replaces No Child Left Behind. It's called the Every Student Succeeds Act. But instead of approaching it from a regulatory compliance point of view, we went out to communities just like we did here. We were hosted by the Salem-Keizer School District Superintendent Christy Perry and her team, and engage the Oregonians about what are your hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations for your kids. We framed it around these questions that are really on everybody's mind, and anybody can describe them in whatever hat they put on, as a business representative, as a parent, as a student, as a teacher, as an administrator. And we did 9 of those, and we have 3 or 4 more to go. And I can tell you, this is a common theme that we heard at each and every one of them. We heard it from students, we heard it from parents, we heard it from educators, and it's about parent and community engagement. Each and every individual said to us, we need to have parents and communities involved in our work. I mean, it's almost a revival of community schools and the relationships that need to exist between communities and their schools. So I just want to share that with you because it reaffirms the importance of parent and family engagement in schools and the importance of the community being a part of that school. And sometimes we have to think about the community in unique and different ways because we have smaller groups that are part of our community that need help engaging and support engaging the school and the school staff. So in closing, I just want to emphasize how important it is that organizations such as the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality, the leadership in Olivia and her team, truly promote healthy relationships between communities and schools that help students and their families be successful. They are the equity bridge. They're the ones that ensure that we're paying attention to the needs of each and every single student in our schools and to provide them the resources and the supports that will help them be successful, and that starts with the family and the parent. So I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. I want to thank the Coalition for what you do and for partnering with schools and families to ensure that we have equitable outcomes, truly equitable outcomes for all students in our community and I would say in our state as a whole. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Salam. And now I have someone to introduce to you who is a representative of our students in Salem, a Latino student who came here as a farm worker with his parents. And Shamir's parents were farm workers at Shamir Cervantes. That's who I'm talking about. And he moved from Mexico to California to Oregon and back again as a true migrant worker with every season and every crop. They did not have a lot of formal education, but they instilled in Shamir one constant: education is the key to success. Changing schools each season wasn't easy, but his parents and their love for education were his constant. He had the privilege of attending preschool in Mexico, which starts at 3 years old, by the way. They call it kindergarten from age 3 to age 5 or 6. And he had the privilege of being in all of those places fully Spanish. And then kindergarten and first grade, part of it in a fully bilingual school in California. In fourth grade, they ended up in Salem and they settled here. He attended McNary, where he refounded the Latino Club in his freshman year, was a leader in the McNary's mock trial program that won the district championship in his sophomore year, and he became class president in his junior year. He was privileged to be accepted into Willamette Academy in 8th grade and graduated from McNary in 2012. He entered Willamette University with scholarships, including the Jason Lee Leadership Award and the Alan and Grace Gowdy Scholarship. And he helped Eduardo Angulo, founder and former director of SKCE, start the mock trial program that year with former Chief Justices Paul de Muñiz and Edwin Peterson. Finally, he became the student body president of the Associated Students of Willamette University last year, and he graduated 3 days ago, so he's pretty tired. Please welcome Shamir Cervantes.
Thank you to Ana Olivia for that great introduction, and thank you all for being here. I might be a little bit sheepish today because I'm not used to talking about myself this much. I'm only doing it today gladly because I want to express how much SKCE and its value and its mission means to me. I believe the best way for me to do so is to be upfront about everything. So let me begin by saying that I hope you're able to give Ana Olivia some donations today, because every bit of help she gets will be magnified many times over in the help she gives to Oregon, especially our education system. She might not be too happy about this, but Ana Olivia doesn't need your donations, strictly speaking, because even without proper resources and support, she would find a way to work magic and support Salem Keizer, because that's the type of person she is. I know because I clearly see in her many values our community strives to embody. We are hardworking, we adapt, we are grateful, we are kind. We really are. And we can struggle. We can do amazing things with very little. I also likely would have been successful on some level without the help I received, because I always had the mentality that I had to do well at whatever I did. You've already heard a list of my accomplishments, and it's a good list, but I could double it. I won't, don't worry. It's just that small Latino kids don't get to be student body president by being timid, especially at the oldest college in the West. And I swear to you, I fight really hard with myself to keep arrogance from clouding my judgment and my words. This isn't to say that I would have gotten to where I am without the help that I received. Quite to the contrary. I would not have been able to develop my full potential without all the support I received from my parents who instilled in me the value of education, from community support programs like Willamette Academy that gave me invaluable knowledge, and from advocacy organizations like SKCE working behind the scenes for me to receive the opportunities that I did. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. But here's the thing. None of what I accomplished was easy or one without having to also endure some sort of challenge posed by my ethnicity and culture. If not directly in my face, then in the background, from words and people that constantly reminded me that I was a Mexican immigrant with an accent and brown skin. In high school, I heard things like, "This is our table, and we don't like Mexican kids," or, "I like you because you're not like the other Mexicans." In college, I had to purposefully work very hard to get rid of as much of my accent as possible, because people don't take kids with accents seriously. I took many advanced classes, so in high school and college, I almost never had Latino friends with me. But like I said, we know how to struggle, and Olivia does, SKCE does. If you're able to give her some help, it won't be squandered. You won't be buying her comfort or making things easier for her. You'll be letting her develop hers and SKCE's full potential. you will be giving them the opportunity to reach more children and confront the issues I faced by making me less the exception and more the norm. You will be helping us show that kids with accents and brown skin can accomplish and be successful with the right backing and support. And we will give back. We will always give back. I don't want to get into the politics of my school much here tonight, but some of you may know that I resigned my position as student body president in protest of my school's governance model, and I feel I should acknowledge that. Much has been said about why I resigned, so let me tell you right now that I didn't do it for myself. I didn't do it out of resentment or much less out of a lack of gratitude. Quite the contrary. I felt I had a charge. I knew people depended on me for representation, and I felt I had only one path left for me. It was drastic and it was painful. I was born on a hill in southern Mexico with nothing. So being student body president at Willamette University was a great honor for me. I took pride in having earned my position and wanted very much to end the year with my title. I resigned in the way that I did because it was the right thing for the students who voted for me, for my professors, for my school, and for all the people who supported me in my formative years. I resigned in protest because I cared more about others and giving them voice than I did about myself or my prestige. And I embraced that spirit, hoping to make people like you proud. I gave what little I had to support all the communities around me that needed help. Someday I hope to have more to give back. But you do now, today. So please, help Ana Olivia, knowing she will give back, selflessly and in gratitude, with as much passion and care for the people who need it as I try to show. In her own way, a kinder way, one I deeply respect and admire, as I hope you do as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shamir. Gracias. That's just one little glimpse of what happens when opportunities are provided for students, and it really doesn't matter if they had, a 5-bedroom home, and if they were in this community since birth and they never went to another school, or if they had a mom that had a legal license to take them to school in a big car and pick them up. What matters is the support and the opportunities that kids get in their schools. So thank you, Shamir. That is wonderful for sharing your story. And there's going to be other stories that you will be hearing tonight and today regarding the opportunities that are provided with the Salem-Keizer Coalition. So we have many ways of supporting parents, and many parents attend a training that happens in schools. And those trainings are provided by parents for parents, okay? And it's called Educa Inspira. Next, you're going to hear stories from parents about their experience as they participated in Educa Inspira. Today, we're going to have Ofelia in a video. You're going to see that there's many ways to raise the bar, and one of the ways will be through parents and how they respond to the Educa Inspira classes that they have. The Educa Inspira class is not something that the Salem-Keizer Coalition created out of nowhere and for no reason. There were a lot of collaborations. The Oregon Department of Education, Northwest Regional Labs, and teachers from Salem-Keizer, administrators from Salem-Keizer got together in the early 2000s and put some classes together. How to talk to your teacher, how to understand a report card, what does credits mean, how do kids graduate, and that's the kind of training that parents get when they come to Educa Inspira. So are we going to do the video? Okay, thank you.
Yo conocí la coalición que me hicieron la invitación por primera vez, pues me llamó la atención, quería saber qué era, de qué se trataba. Y fui, sí, la verdad me gustó mucho porque allí aprendí mucha. Ay, no voy a poder. Allí aprendí muchas cosas, me enseñaron el sistema, la escuela, cómo uno debe involucrarse más con los maestros y asistir a la importancia de asistir a las juntas y cómo envolverme más, porque en realidad yo no sabía mucho, no tenía la preparación para pues, ir a la escuela. El mayor, pues yo sí empecé a ir con él a la escuela, a informarme con su maestra cómo van sus calificaciones, cómo va él en la escuela, y empecé a involucrarme con él haciendo sus tareas. Me empecé a interesar más con él, a estar checando sus cosas, y así de ese modo yo fue como lo empecé a ayudar a mi hijo, agarrando las ideas que yo he aprendido en los talleres. Pues con Manuel, ahorita estoy yo con él ayudándolo igual que a mi hijo el grande, porque yo quiero que vaya a la universidad. Y estoy ayudándolo también y pues aplicando lo que he aprendido en los talleres, lo que he aprendido de otros padres, las ideas que dan. Mis sueños para mis hijos son bien grandes. Yo quiero que mis hijos pues, vayan a la universidad y se gradúen de la universidad y hagan una carrera universitaria para que estén preparados para el futuro y que sean unas buenas personas para que ayuden a los demás. Y ese es mi gran sueño para mis hijos.
Yo tengo 4 hijos, uno tiene 27, ella 25, el otro de 22 años y ella de 15. Ella va muy bien, puras as me trae. Entonces yo estoy muy feliz. Me ha ayudado mucho este programa pues con ustedes. Sí, mucho. Las clases me ayudaron más aquí en el programa que de ustedes. Fue como eso de pues leyendo, avanzando. Y luego pues estar pendiente de la escuela, de ellos, siempre estar ahí chequeando sus grados, eso a mí me ayudó bastante. Aprendí a leer las calificaciones, yo antes no sabía yo qué significaba la A y la B y todo, digo, ¿qué es eso? Pues yo aprendí en eso todo, con ustedes, todo el programa que estuve con ustedes pues, eso me ayudó mucho.
My name is Janet Flores. My elementary school, I went to Yoshikat, and then I moved on to middle school. And I'm currently a freshman at McKay High School, and I'm 15. I'm about to turn 15 more. My older brother, the one that I told you that we're very competitive sometimes, he even tells me when we're not around them sometimes, I do believe you can be better than all of us, and that kind of gives me like a little warm feeling, saying like, oh my God, I am, and I will. And my mom. She helps me a lot to be like motivated for school. I'm really proud of my mom of how she tries to get involved in my school sometimes, and I'm proud that she has learned so much from this program too. She just gives me lots of motivations because she tells me about her story about how she never got that education in her family. So I guess that's kind of motivation too, because I want, the reason why she came here is so we can get obviously a better future. And I want that for myself and to make her proud too.
We've been coming here to Salem Kaiser Coalition for Equality since I was 12 years old. She learned a lot through there and helped me learn as a person. So that's what pretty much motivated, that's one of the big reasons motivated me, on top of me having 2 kids and me realizing, okay, what am I doing? I need to set an example for them. My dad thinks he barely made it to like middle school. She didn't even graduate elementary because she had to quit to help out around the house and her family. So it wasn't, they didn't know much about, they couldn't help us out with the homework and stuff like that. And so I think the program did help her out a lot as to regarding, okay, you know what, school is important. Without school, you're pretty much nowhere. She taught me as to be involved with your kids in school. Don't just send them off to school and be like, woohoo, do the best that you can. And I taught my husband too, who came from a Hispanic background. Like, he was born and raised in Mexico. And when I was going to conferences and with my son, he would always be like, I don't get the point of you going to school. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go to school when they call me, be like, hey, you know, your son skipped school. I'm like, what's the point of that going to, I'm like, later on, you know, you can't really put him like in a path when they have already chosen one. I'm like, you need to try and guide them from the beginning. And so he's learned a lot too, just by me teaching him and be like, this is what I was taught, and this is how it worked out for me. What I want for my kids for both of them, I guess, would be to follow their dreams, stand up for what they believe in.
Muy orgullosa.
Y el futuro de ellos.
El futuro, mis sueños, pues ella quiere ser dentista, yo espero que lo logre. Y pues el otro muchacho, pues ya un año más y ya se va a graduar de colegio. Pues yo quiero más, mucho más, pero ya no quieren. Esos son mis sueños. Pues yo espero con ella que sí sea una dentista. Sí, porque ahorita va bien, pura A me trae. Está el programa de Huilame, a ver si...
All right, so I feel so emotional when I hear that video. When I hear my mom talking, I remember back when I was young and see how far we have come, how far my mom has come. I just feel so thankful that she has had the opportunity to attend workshops and events and become part of the group of Latino parents with the coalition. One of the most important ways I saw my mom change was when she learned not to be afraid. She didn't know English and she didn't know much about the school system, but she learned how to make sure we were doing well in school. She came to school, she asked for appointments with teachers, counselors, and principals to resolve problems, to get answers, to defend us if necessary. She got over her fears for our sake and put all of her energy into making sure we had every opportunity to succeed. This district has changed so much since I entered first grade in 1998. I didn't know how to speak English, but there were few bilingual services. I didn't know I was behind reading until middle school, about the same time my mom started attending the collision classes. My mom started helping me with techniques the teacher told her to do at home. The school put me in ESL classes and helped me learn English better. And then I transitioned to English classes in about the 10th grade. Thanks to every special teacher in my senior year, I caught up with all my language art credits and graduated on time. Thanks to the collision, we learned how important education was and made sure we reached our goals into graduating college. Thank you. I got emotional. Thank you.
It makes it extra special.
Thanks.
Wow. When you help, or when you empower, when a mother becomes empowered, it's generational. It goes through generations, and you can see how Celia has a mentor, a model, and now she's doing that with her children, and Grandma's really proud of the grandkids that are coming up, and we're proud as a community to have students like this come through our district and shine and be the model or the example that can shine when we work together, when we all collaborate and share. So we're going to have one more student come up here and share her story, and her name is Maria Isabel. Maria Isabel Saldaña is a Willamette University freshman. She came to Salem with her family when she was in the 6th grade. At Waldo, her parents attended Educa Inspira classes with Salem Kaiser Coalition. She was in the mock trial events and participant while she was in high school. She also graduated from McKay High School with scholarships to Willamette. She is an increasingly creative artist. We are privileged to have Maria Isabel Saldaña in our community. Thank you, Maria.
Hola, mi nombre es María Isabel Saldaña y acabo de terminar mi primer año en Willamette University. Soy la mayor de 5 hijos en mi familia y les doy gracias por estar aquí hoy. I will interpret in English what I just said. My name is María Isabel Saldaña and I just finished my first year at Willamette University. I'm the eldest of 5 children, and I am thankful to be here with y'all today. My experience in Salem Kaiser School District reflects a narrative that a large majority of students of color live. My difficulty in this system relates to not being accepted as a bright mind. I wish I could have been treated from the beginning of my schooling here as the high-achieving student I am and to be empowered to learn. I wish that all students would be treated as potential leaders and power figures for the next generation. I entered 6th grade and was placed in all regular level classes. I was placed in a math class below where I deserved to be. My math teacher insisted I needed to be in Algebra 1, and after dealing with pushback, I was placed in the right class. Later, I heard some of the staff didn't trust my high test scores. They thought I had cheated. Looking back, I was excluded and discriminated against because I was Mexican. My parents were not able to advocate for me. Being new to the community, the language barrier, and never having had issues with the previous school system, they were all factors that prevented their intervention. Through the coalition, my mother felt more comfortable and enticed to communicate with the school about her children's absences and behavior in school. Since early on in this school system, I saw a power dynamic that it took a white teacher with privilege to fight for me to be academically on track. Despite earlier altercations with math class placement, I grew to love it more than any other subject and even got first place in the Chemeketa Regional Math Competition my freshman year. Feeling empowered in math helped me to make a successful transition into high school and motivated me to continue my education. I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know how to apply for scholarships, financial aid, or even admission. At that point, I didn't even know what any of those words meant. I knew I wasn't documented and that my college process would be more difficult than average. I had no one at home or at school to ask. No one could answer all my questions. I felt like I was being told that I wouldn't be successful in academics or through going to college. A lot changed for me in my junior year. My outlook changed based on experiences in school and also in the Latino community. My pre-calculus teacher made my love of math grow in a very real way. He challenged me and guided me to see bigger concepts in math, and he also showed no bias towards those of us who were students of color or who had more obstacles in their lives. He had been a helicopter mechanic, and teaching was more of a backup plan for him. That was really cool. That was a really cool feeling, knowing that math can actually lead to real careers. My dreams of the future shifted more towards the bigger picture, thinking that I could be designing cars or airplanes rather than settling for a job in retail. My summer volunteering at Capaces Leadership Institute, a nonprofit that works to empower youth leaders in Woodburn, was almost life-changing. Being able to have intelligent conversations with people of my same culture and color was very important in developing my identity. I learned to be more proud of my Mexican roots. I valued myself as a brown body. I was all my brains, experiences, opinions, and I mattered. There I also met Jaime, who helped me with the details of getting into college. He made a plan and scheduled time out of his busy day to invest in my future. He showed legitimate concern with my situation, something that I had never had before, especially relating to my college endeavors. Without Salem Keizer Coalition for Equality, I would not be as well off as I am. My relationship with Capaces stemmed from a summer Latino youth program that was initiated by SKCE, and I am forever thankful for that opportunity. My path was directed since the first days I would go with my parents to the workshops on Portland Road. Apart from the valuable conversations parents of colors had in that space, I saw hope, love, and pride for La Raza in Don Eduardo's speeches. Seeing a Black Latino man embody a powerful speaker, demonstrate intelligence, and deliver legitimate messages in a scope outside of religion made me see a realer, clearer picture of success and representation in academia for people of color. After my first year at a liberal arts university, I have learned more in depth about my work and worth and value to this community as a brown student. The brown Latino community is full of potential for our future teachers, engineers, and leaders. These students' experiences in the school system determine their decision of whether or not to continue with education. If you are constantly being told you can't do it and are constantly told your opinion doesn't matter, that your raised hand won't have the right answer, then of course you won't want to continue the mistreatment and subordination that is associated with school. We need spaces with purposes to show our pride and unleash our culture without fear or restraints. By valuing their identities and promoting and fostering self-love, children can become better students and help with building a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. So powerful. So we're almost getting to the end. But we're coming to the most important part. These guys were very important. But for this event, I would like to introduce Eric Lindbauer. Eric Lindbauer has been a supporter and mentor of Salem Keizer Coalition since 2002, when he, as the president of OCF, and Greg Chaley, the now retired CEO, founded the Latino Partnership Project, which helped small Latino organizations to gain capacity and strengths to serve the Latino communities in Oregon. Our first LPP grant helped us get our 501c3 nonprofit status and continued each year helping us to build the capacity. Eric is an attorney and highly acclaimed mediator since 1985. Another attorney described him as one of the best mediators of the Northwest, persistent, patient, and fair. I guess that's what makes him such a great mentor also. Please welcome Eric Lindauer.
Well, thank you all very much. It's great to be here. Thank you, Olivia, for all of the work you do. I'd like to get Shamir, Celia, and Maria to come up with me. Would you please? Shamir, come on up here. Yeah. So, you know, as we sit here having a wonderful lunch, there are 40,000 students in the Salem-Keizer School District. 18,000 of those are young students like these standing beside me. And I think we ought to take just a moment to acknowledge the leadership that's been provided in this school district by Christy Perry. And Christy, if you stand up and let us thank you for being our superintendent of schools. I don't know about you, but getting up every morning and have responsibility for 40,000 students is a little daunting to me. But thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being so open to the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality and being such a good partner with us. I want to tell you how this all came about. You know, 14, 15 years ago, in this school district, the Latino population was on the outside looking in. There was a disconnect. They were being marginalized. There was no opportunity for a connection between the school district, the parents, and the students. And we thought that we ought to be doing something about that. And thanks to Greg Chalet, who is sitting here, and the president of the Oregon Community Foundation, we decided to partner up with the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality. We said we can make a difference here. And we have. Over the last 14, 15 years, we have made a difference, as evidenced by your presence here today. You know, these wonderful students, come sit by me. I am so proud. You know, to stand up here and to give testimony is not easy. But I am so proud of these students for what they have accomplished in their lives and what they have achieved in enormous odds to come to this point in their lives, to achieve the kind of success they have. And really, it's a testament to two things. One, it's a testament to their persistence, and it's a testament to the parents who have been so encouraging. But it just doesn't happen alone. It needs someone to bridge that gap, someone to connect between these parents and students and the school district, because we didn't have that connection. There was a disconnect. That wasn't happening. And in stepped the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality. And that was the bridge. That was the important bridge. And today, as a result, as Salam has said, the greater involvement that we have in parents, the higher the results in terms of achievement, the higher the results in terms of attendance, the higher results that we get students like these who succeed in life. So the key is the parent involvement. And when we don't have a district that encourages that marginalizes and keeps these parents on the outside, there's not going to be that success. So we need that bridge. We need that connection. And to provide a welcoming environment, we need to make sure that that continues in this school district and in school districts throughout the state. And we're not just in the Salem-Keizer School District. We are in Canby, we're in North Clackamas, we're in Forest Grove, we're in Medford. We are spreading this opportunity for parents to become engaged in school districts so that when their students come to that school district, they feel that they're a part of that district, not on the outside, not looking in, but engaged and a part of that. And when that happens, this is the result. So I want to thank Aunt Olivia and her staff for what they're doing, not only here in Salem, but throughout the state. Because if we don't have that connection, if we don't have that opportunity for students to succeed, it's not going to happen. and that's on us. So what's the results? Is this working? Is this connection really, can we say that this is producing the kind of results that we want for our children, for our families, and for our community? Absolutely. Last year, Eco Northwest, really a highly respected organization, took a look at this and said, can we get a measurable outcome between students who haven't had the benefit of this bridge and students who have? And the results were pretty dramatic. In the result of their study, it increased participation in terms of reducing absenteeism from 18% to 9%, or to 6%. In the middle schools, it reduced absenteeism from 21% to 9%. That's pretty dramatic in terms of what's happening when these kids do not attend school. And there's not interest, there's not support. So we don't get the kind of stars that we have up here. So what we have found by this research and what we have found by our own knowledge is that as you get parents involved, you get students involved. And when you get students that are field supported from their school district, from the superintendent's office, all the way down, from the state of Oregon, all the way down, when you feel that they're being supported, then you have results like this. And that's what we're all about. Because we're raising the bar, yes, but we're raising our community. We're recognizing how important these students are so that we can have a student body president of Willamette University that was a graduate of Willamette Academy. And again, something that Greg Shalai and I started with President Lee Pelton to open up an opportunity for students of color to have a college education. And I think this is a wonderful example of how successful we were. And I really respect what Shamir and I have had a number of conversations. And I respect the decision he made. I really do. He did the right thing for the right reason. So this just doesn't happen. You know, we need help. We need help. We can't continue to expect Anna Olivia and her great staff to go forward without your help. Not just your help financially, but your help in all of the work that you do in this community. I see friends here who've been involved in this cause for many, many years, and we need your continued support. So I want you to take a moment and think about how important it is that we have students, Celia, Shamir, and Maria, that can be shining examples of what it means when we can bridge that gap, that we're not keeping them on the outside, that we're bringing them in, that we're making them a part of our community. And they're going to be stars in our community. They're going to be leaders in our community. They're going to raise our awareness of how important it is for we to have to engage our Latino families and our Latino friends. So I want you to take a moment and think about how important the work is that Salem Keizer is doing. We need to raise $5,000 today. And we need to raise it in this room, and we need to raise it now. I need your help. They need your help. We want to be sure that this great organization can continue to succeed in the way that it has, so that all of us can be very proud of what we're doing for our community, for our schools, for our families, and for students like these who might have an opportunity to follow in their footsteps and to do the kind of good work, provide the kind of leadership, the kind of shining examples that they have been. So there are envelopes on your table. We're here to lift these students up. We're here to make a difference, and we're here to ask for your support. So I want you to just take a moment and reflect how important this is, and to write a check, to make a commitment, to take that envelope. There are pens there. I want each of you, before we leave this room, to make some indication of your commitment to the Salem Keizer Coalition for Quality, so we can continue to do the good work in this community and communities throughout Oregon. So thank you for your commitment. Thank you for being here. I remember one of the first luncheons that I attended here, and there were like 3 tables. And I want to tell you how pleased I am to see such a terrific commitment from this community, and how proud we are on behalf of the Oregon Community Foundation, Greg Chalet, for supporting the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality, and to thank our superintendent for your continued commitment to work with us and this coalition and in this important work. Thank you all very much. Let's make a big difference. Sit down, make a commitment. Whatever the number is, double it. Write it on that envelope. Make sure we're assured that we can continue this for another year and for the success of the coalition. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you for coming. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everybody. I just want to say a really warm thank you